Alright, so for the last video, I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker here. This is section 7.5. That's the last section. So it's actually not too bad. This is one of the easier parts. Again, once you get the hang of it. So for all of these, you notice that you've got parallel lines, which means I'm going to be using that side splitter, is what it was called there. Basically, your middle line is a fraction bar, and that kind of helps you set up your proportions. So in this case, we've got that middle fraction bar. It's going right through the center here. So we've got 12 over 5 is going to equal x over 6. After that, it's just cross multiplication. Okay. So 12 times 6 is 72. 5 times x is 5x. For 31, you notice it's kind of sideways. Let me rotate it here. So, the parallel lines were sideways, so I went ahead and just rotated my paper sideways. So I've got x over 40, you'll notice that right here, is going to equal 21 over 2.1x. Okay, so you're following the same process as 30. X over 40 equals 21 over 2.1x, cross multiplying. Remember, when you've got a squared, you can either factor, or in this case, since there's no regular x term, you can just take the square root. For number 32, again, middle line is a fraction bar. 12 over 14 is going to equal 9 over x. Okay, cross multiply. 12x equals 126. So x is 10.5. I'm going to skip to 34 and then get to 33. So for 34, again, this middle line is a fraction bar. So x plus 2 over 8 equals 10.5 over x. Cross multiply, and you'll notice I get 2x squared plus 2x equals 84. So since I have an x squared term, I'm moving everything to one side. So 2x squared plus 2x minus 84 equals 0. So I'm going to divide all those terms by 2 and make it easier, since they're all even. So I've got x squared plus x minus 42 equals 0. So two numbers that multiply to get to negative 42, but add to get to positive 1. It's going to be positive 7 and negative 6. When I set each piece equal to 0, I get x is negative 7. Well, the problem is I can't have a negative side length there. And x equals 6. That one is possible. Okay. For 33, it's a little bit different, because you'll notice they didn't give you this little part up top. Instead, they gave you the whole thing as 17.5. So my 8 is pairing with the x. So I've got 8 and x up top. My 17.5 is going to pair with the whole thing, which is 14. So since 17.5 was the whole thing, I've got to have 14 for the whole thing. So 8, which is the part over the whole, is going to equal x over the whole. So 8 over 14 equals x over 17.5. Cross multiply. Got 14x equals 140. Divide by 14, I get x of 10. Alright, for 35 and 36, basically what you need to do first is find the scale factor, and then kind of figure things out from there. So for 35, AB, you'll notice, is matching with DE. So if I have AB here, you'll notice that it is 8 long. DE over here is 4. So that means this ABC has to be twice as big, which means BC has to be twice as big as EF. So EF was 3, BC has to be 6. So from B, I've got to count over 6. That's where I can put it. You'll notice I did not put C6 away from A, because AC is corresponding to DF, which would have been the diagonal piece, and that makes it a little bit more tricky. For 36, you'll notice that DEF here is a right triangle, which means ABC would have to be a right triangle. The only spot where it's going to be a right triangle is when I have C here at 5, comma 1. Okay. 437. This is a very popular question on SWL, and it's actually not too bad. So remember, when I've got similar triangles, the sides are going to be proportional. So like HO is going to match with IE, HO and IE. KH would have to match with SI. So I've got two fractions, they work out good. If you look at the second pair, HO is not matching with SI. So that's why this one's not working out, because HO and SI doesn't match. KH matches with the SI. Angle O is in the same position as angle E, so they are congruent. KHO, remember that's the angle at H, is not congruent. So KHO would have to be congruent to angle SIE. Okay. For the next one here, I've got angle S in the same location as angle K, so it's congruent. For the last one, S is not in the same position as angle I, so it doesn't work out. Okay. So that's all of the tests to review, and I will see y'all next week sometime.